Hello and good day. This is Punchline, and we are First News Nation. On Punchline, of course, we discuss national politics. I am Simon Ekpa. Thanks for joining us. It's been a very eventful week in the Nigerian political system. As usual, always eventful stories coming across the country from the political circuit. Once again, thank you for joining us. Don't forget to like and subscribe to all our social media handles: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or YouTube, or Facebook X. We're still going to try to get used to Facebook, X, Instagram, YouTube, or TikTok, whichever one you please. Go ahead, just the way you see it here, like and subscribe. Enable notifications on any of these platforms, anyone you're used to. So every time I have a new episode of Punchline, you're always the first to know. Thank you for joining us. Don't forget you can listen to the audio of this on News Nation FM. We're going to be giving you more details on how you can listen to the audio versions of all our shows. Let's go for a very short break. When we come back, we're going to discuss a very crucial question: where has insecurity gone in Nigeria? You're welcome back. It's still Punchline, and if you didn't listen to the introduction, the question, the topic, the episode of today is discussing insecurity in Nigeria. And no, there has been no serious case of insecurity. That's the problem. You should be wondering, in a country where we've had so much in terms of insecurity, so many kidnappings, insurgency, killings here and there in the past 8 years, that for the very first time, we have not heard any major case of insecurity in Nigeria, and it is worrisome. It's not so worrisome to us, but the question is, a lot of people have forgotten. It's like we've all forgotten. It's like somehow the cases of insecurity that we used to know bedeviled this great country, Nigeria, has gone to sleep. It is 170 days since the inauguration at Eagle Square, May 29th, for our 16th head of state, President Buhari Tinubu. In 170 days, if you can remember, many of you have forgotten because the cases of the economic problems, how much you're buying fuel, fuel subsidy, the high food prices, you have probably forgotten that we have had 0 cases of insurgency in this country in the past 170 days. No incident of insecurity has been recorded on a massive scale. You have not heard of killings or beheadings in the Northeast. You have not heard of kidnappings of school children, even secondary or university. We've not heard of that. We've not heard of any military installation being invaded in the past 170 days. We need to look and ask the questions: what really happened? Why was President Buhari's administration, a former military general, so bedeviled with insecurity cases where the country was not at rest, was not at peace? But in the time of a civilian, one who has never had or held any military office, we've had virtually zero cases of insecurity. In the past 170 days, we've not heard about the fulani herdsmen. We've not heard about cattle rustling. We've not heard about clashes between fulani herdsmen and farmers. We have not heard about all those cases we usually had in the past. We've not heard about it. We're asking the question: what changed since President Tinubu assumed office? Boko Haram, 0. We have not heard about Boko Haram. When was the last time you heard that Boko Haram fought with the military, or there was an insurgency or counterinsurgency in the last 170 days? 0. We've had near 0 cases of train robberies. Remember when we had train robberies? It became so bad in Kaduna State that we had insurgents invade the airport and were shooting at planes, so people couldn't fly. Now Kaduna is peaceful. There is no problem in southern Kaduna. In the last 170 days, what did President Tinubu do to quell the situation? More things we need to ask. There's not been any attack on religious institutions. We hear about Reverend Fathers getting kidnapped, clerics getting kidnapped. Once in a while, we hear the chairman of a Christian Association of Nigeria in a northern state has been kidnapped or killed. We've not heard that in a while. In the last 170 days, no one has brought out a video to show girls, schoolgirls who had been abducted. We've not heard of that case. Neither have we heard about any release of any of those schoolgirls in the last 170 days. So think with me, what did President Tinubu do to cause so much calm in the country? So much calm that in one of our episodes, we discussed the 2.2 trillion naira President Tinubu asked for a supplementary budget where part of the money was going to fighting insurgency. Yet, we've not heard anything about it. As a matter of fact, in the last 170 days, we rarely see videos of army officers or military men taking videos and saying that they are suffering in the bushes and all that, even though the entire military infrastructure, entire military leadership has been changed. Was that the solution? Was that the issue? Was that what broke the camel's back? One question. In the last 170 days, there's been little or nothing heard about the attacks in southern Kaduna, in Zamfara, in Benue. The bloodbath in Benue State had become a recurring decimal under the last administration, under Governor Samuel Otom, former governor of Benue State. Now, Benue is relatively calm. What is happening? I am not one, by the way, I'm not one who looks for violence, but we need to also ask the question, what changed? And why was there so much insecurity in the administration of former military general, former head of state of the Federal Republic of Nigeria? But now in the time of a civilian administration, we're not hearing any of those crises. What changed? In the southeast of Nigeria, IPOB, ESN, Simon Ekpa, Nnamdi Kanu, nothing. In the southwest, nothing about the Yoruba nation, nothing about Sunday Igboho, nothing. Nothing at all. In the past 170 days, if the cases have been there, they've been very minimal. You've been hearing of the military going into incursions and exposing ESN hideouts in the east, but we have not heard of any serious issue. As a matter of fact, in the southeast, we have not heard of any issue relating to compliance with the sit-at-home order or the repeal of the sit-at-home order. We have not heard about that. There's been no burnings, there's been no kidnappings, there's been no lynching, there's been no killings in the past 170 days. Look at the southern part of Nigeria. We've also seen that there has been no case of militants threatening to destroy infrastructure in the entire south part of Nigeria. So Nigeria has been relatively quiet insecurity-wise. Good enough we're not hearing of how military officers were killed in different places at theater of action. We have not heard that. That's good news. Even the Sambisa forest, which was very well known in the period of President Buhari's administration, nobody remembers Sambisa forest. Has it been turned into an estate? We don't know. Let's take a break. When we come back, we'll discuss more. Welcome back. It's still Punchline. We are First News Nation. I am Sami Ajifo. Thank you for joining us. Don't forget to like and subscribe to all our social media handles at First News Nation. Or you can listen to the audio of this at News Nation FM. Everything is shown here. Thank you for joining us. The conversation we had before we went on the break is still the conversation we're having today. 170 days since May 29th, when President Bola Ahmed Tinubu became the 16th head of state of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Little to nothing has been heard about the cases of insecurity, which was a big part of President Buhari's administration. In his administration, we heard so much about letting go of the military hierarchy. That didn't happen. We heard about, we are going to destroy Boko Haram. Technically, we have wiped them out. ISWAP, ISIS, herdsmen, all those nomenclatures, all those groups have suddenly disappeared in the last 170 days. Is it too close to call? Are we celebrating too early? Is there still a war in the northeastern part of Nigeria, in Borno State? in all the states in the Northeast, is there still a war going on? We don't know about that, but it's not as loud as it was during President Buhari's administration. One of the Niger Delta warlords who used to threaten fire and brimstone every time something didn't go in their favor, except for Asari Dokubo, we're not hearing any, and he's not really threatening fire and brimstone. We're not hearing for most of the other militants who have come out once in a while to threaten, to destroy pipelines, to do this, to bring the country to a halt. The Niger Delta is relatively quiet. It should be a thing of joy. We should be celebrating, but we should also think back what caused all the ruckus in the last 8 years. I'm talking from 2015 to 2023. Now, did President Buhari actually keep his promise? Is this all in fulfillment of President Buhari's promise? Because he did say that at the end of his administration, insecurity will come to an end. What was he trying to say? Was it an effort he made, or he's trying to pass a message that probably all this noise was because he was in government? When he leaves government, all the noise will end. Is this the fulfillment of a veiled prophecy? So how did it happen that all of a sudden, all the insurgents, the militant groups, the unrest, the disgruntled tribes and all that, everybody is quiet? So did President Buhari keep up with promise? Were all his actions in the last 8 years, especially from 2019 to 2023, all the military actions, was it in a bid to quell the insurgency and the peace in which we enjoy today? Now, during Buhari's tenure, not a week went by where you didn't hear of kidnapping. Not a week went by where you didn't hear of bombings. Not a week went by where you didn't hear of bloodshed, where you didn't hear of massacre, especially in the north central, the northeast, certain parts of the south, especially southeast areas. Even in Lagos, we heard of cases of insecurity in Lagos. It was popular where we had cattle groups, I forgot the name of the group, and they're all coming out to say, we're going to divide this country, we're going to do this, if we don't do this. We have not heard from them. Everybody is quiet. 170 days, little or no insecurity issues. What did President Tinubu do, or what did President Buhari do? Which of them did the magic? Which of them did this great miracle that we're not hearing any issues? Is this going to be the permanent thing? Are we going to face other issues rather than the insecurity? In the Buhari era, we heard a lot and saw a lot of money pumped into insecurity, to finding a lasting solution to the insecurity situation in Nigeria. Is this the product of it, or should we think about something else? How did this miracle happen? Is this a sign of great things to come? Is there something fishy about the so-called war on terrorism? We need to be putting these questions out there and asking ourselves, how did it happen that in a country where not a week went by when you are either kidnapped on the roads or even the flights, you are afraid of flying? I remember a few years ago in Kaduna, you couldn't get there by road, you couldn't get there by air, you couldn't get there by train. So what changed? And we must commend whoever, and we pray that there was nothing fishy about this, because there's something called war profiteering. Let's not hope that those who were benefiting from this suddenly lost taste for it. Let's also hope that this is a good sign of things to come, and that we'll not be facing this insecurity. There were so many cases, so many during President Buhari's administration, but today everywhere is quiet. Everywhere is quiet. Even the off-cycle elections that were taking place, that just took place in Kogi, Imo, and Bayelsa State, rarely did we hear of any serious case. Where is the IPOB? Where is the ESN? Where is the Yoruba Nation? Where are they all? Where are the other groups, the splinter groups? Where is ISWAP? If they have been quelled, then kudos to whoever. Let's move forward with this country, and let's go to the next thing, the economy, and making life better for Nigerians. Your comments are more important. If you have noticed what we have noticed in the last 170 days, please drop it in the comment section below. And we would like to hear what you have to say about this particular subject matter. I am Simon Ekpa. Thanks for joining us. Don't forget, like and subscribe to all our social media handles, Facebook, X, Instagram, YouTube, at First News Nation, on News Nation FM. Enable notifications on all these platforms. So every time we have a new show, you will know. The next conversation, the next episode will be more interesting than this. You need to be around, stick around for that. As usual, we always ask you to try your best to stay safe.